No, it's a new day and we're starting a brand new project, so I'm gonna let Sam walk you through it.
Here's what we got going on. First of all, we gotta take these planters out. So these folks had a pretty good blowout, so all that is getting replaced.
Now this is one of those typical double terraced retaining walls that was underbuilt and it underperformed. Plus it's holding up that garage above it. Oftentimes people confuse these blocks for retaining wall blocks, and really what these are meant for is tree rings or small planter beds, not really retaining wall applications, and that's why a lot of times these blocks tend to fail. Now the easiest way to do this project would be to take the entire retaining wall down all at once, but we're not going to do it because it's still supporting that garage above it. So we've got to take our time and do it the right way. That means we've got to do it in sections. For just a little extra support to that garage, we're going to leave the upper wall in place while we build the lower wall. But we find a weird little footing that has to be taken out first. We plan on saw cutting it if we can get it to run.
Are we doing 2 tiers on this again or just one?
Just one.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we'll knock this one down once we get it built. We'll see if it'll stay there when we dig back. It might not.
Some of you guys remember Blaine, but if you're just meeting him for the first time, Blaine is one of my project foremen, and he also has a master's degree in mathematics of all things.
7 course. You're moving back a ½ inch per course. So looking at 3.5.
I'll take your word for that. I can't count unless if it goes higher than my fingers.
The trench will be 2 feet wide and 1 foot below grade. That will allow for 6 inches of rock and 6 inches of block to both get buried to tow the wall in. What they can't contour with the Mini X, they'll do by hand. The base material is exactly the same as the drainage zone. 3/4 clear angular stone. It locks in place and doesn't shift and move if water passes through it. Now you can also use class 5 as base, but I recommend never using P-rock in any application for a retaining wall at all. Never in the drainage zone, and especially not as base material. corner is a little tight and awkward to form with the Mini X, so the guys do the last bit of contouring by hand. Now they can't squeeze the skid loader into the corner of that retaining wall, so he's going to dump all of the rock at the end of the trench and then they'll hand shovel it where it needs to go. String level is set up just as a rough guide for the excavation. This will help the guys determine where the face of the wall goes and the general height, but that's not the final guide.
Just needs to be close, and then we'll level off the blocks. All right.
They find out they've got a little bit too much base in place, which means that they can't get the right amount of block buried, so some of it has to come back out. Getting that first course correct is critical, and we're going to show you in real time exactly how long that takes. Because they altered the height of the base, it has to be recompacted before any work can begin. They'll start basing the wall in the corner of the garage and work their way out. One of the bucket latches is still a bit sticky.
Alright.
And sometimes you'll hook a pallet the wrong way and things don't go the way you want them to.
Lift it up, up. No. You gotta lift this, lift it up, tip the, there you go. Ooh, he's going for it.
On a bigger retaining wall project, we'll split into teams of two, a basing team and a wall building team. The basing team will have one dedicated baser and then a person feeding the baser. The baser never really has to leave the trench. They can concentrate on their work, and you'll see why that's important in just a minute. Alright guys, I'm going to change things up just a bit here. At the end of this video, we're going to do a very detailed breakdown on how to base a difficult section of this retaining wall. I saved it for the end because I know it's not for everybody. It definitely slows down the flow of the video, but I know a few of you guys love that really nerdy, detailed information because I know I do. I absolutely love it. I included it at the end, so catch that after my outro if you're interested in that stuff, but let's keep going with this one. So as Alex is basing out in front of the boys, they start towing in the wall. They fill just up to the front face and back of the first course of wall, and this helps lock everything together and stabilize it, prepping it for the second course to go on. With the bottom course towed in as far as they want to go, the boys are going to prep to get the second course on. Now it's quiz time. Does anybody know what Alex is doing with this move? With the base course towed in, they can lay the second course down, which ties everything together. So now there's rain in the forecast, and the boys got to lock everything down and tarp everything over as if they don't know if they can come back to work the next day.
Hooked a chunk of drain tile up to the downspout. We're supposed to get an inch of rain tomorrow. And if that happened, with how this grade is going, it's going to send everything into this back corner here by where we're working. And that is not very ideal. So we got a little under a half of our basin. First run, all good to go.
So that's all we've got for you on this video, but as soon as we can get back to this job site, we'll take you through step by step the rest of the process to finish this project up. God bless and go get them, you guys. We'll hopefully see you on the next one. And do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your friends, and let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. We'll catch you on another one, you guys. So every single block gets leveled front to back and side to side. Then that block gets leveled front to back, side to side with the block on either side of it. Then the backs of the blocks get lined up with the blocks on either side of it, and then the faces get double checked. It's a long, tedious process, but all of those steps must be followed to make sure that this first course goes in right, because it sets up everything else that follows after it. Alright guys, this is that information I promised you. Alex is actually learning how to be a baser and training to be one of our foremen, and Blaine is going to walk him step by step through the process of this difficult corner.
So this end is a little high. Kind of climbing out. That was good.
I know, Blaine, I'm not convinced. I have a feeling there's a but coming.
But
something's got him unsettled.
so this is a little low, this side right here, because that's pretty good from here to here, but there's a little gap under there. So it's just sitting down just to here. But since we're gluing this corner, you can probably leave that.
You can make it up with the glue.
And start just going off of this one now. This one's rough.
Yeah, it was like when I was going to those two, it was throwing me off.
Yeah, a lot of times these block, they got a little crown.
Yeah, that
Not
one.
totally flat. They're kind of crowned right in the middle.
Yep, it was that one throwing me off, that little low spot there.
So usually if you get from here to here level, because they dip on the ends for some reason. I don't know if it's their molds or what, but
Okay.
they usually have the highest spot is right through here. So if you're good, usually if you're pretty good through here,
So just go from like the middle to the middle.
Now the dead blow hammer is actually there only to make very minor adjustments to the block. A lot of times the biggest adjustments have to be made by hand, meaning you have to lift the block up, level the base out, add a little bit of material here, or subtract a little bit of material and get the block absolutely as close as you possibly can before you finally send it home with the dead blow. And there's no give in these blocks. This is a mortarless system, so you've got to get the base perfect because there's no other adjustments afterward.